Let's face it, for many people, January is the month of resolutions. Resolve to lose weight, resolve to get fit, resolve to quit smoking, resolve to change your habits and your body. But Dawn Kress has a different message. The Regina mentor and wellness facilitator thinks we should focus on success from the inside out. I've reached her over the phone this morning. Hi, Dawn.
Hi there.
So what do you mean by the phrase, from the inside out?
What I do is, let's take your introduction here of using weight, because so many people in the new year want to make a New Year's resolution and lose weight or feel more fit or whatnot. And so usually for about the first couple of weeks, they're going to the gym and everything is wonderful. And then suddenly they start maybe finding some little excuses why they shouldn't go. Well, I really don't have enough time and things like this. And what I would say that is we're sabotaging ourselves at that point, because initially we thought it was a really good idea, but then suddenly we don't think it's a good idea anymore. And that is the work of our subconscious. So our subconscious really runs the show, and it's always the one who's going to win. So if it's saying, yeah, you don't really have enough time, guess what? You're going to stop going to the gym. So what I do is I work with those little things that we sabotage ourselves with, and I'll start removing those from your thinking so that you can continue to be successful in whatever endeavor that you want to do.
It's a bit of a challenging notion, because when we talk about subconscious, it literally is things that you are saying to yourself that you're not necessarily aware about. How do you actually begin to sort of turn the page and say, I'm going to engage with my subconscious?
I'll ask a series of questions to people so that I can start getting an idea of what actually is going on inside their subconscious. And I do use a technique called EFT, or emotional freedom technique, that really helps me draw out kind of what's going on in the deep recesses of their mind.
And for people who might not have someone like you, a mentor and wellness facilitator, that can help them do that, what are some little things that someone could do just even on their own to sort of get to that place?
I would probably sit down and start making a list, really just journaling. Here's my idea, this is what I want to do, and then come up with all the excuses and reasons why you can't do it.
What's the next step?
Well, this is where it's tricky. Now you need to somehow be able to shift your thinking from those beliefs to something more positive. And this is why I like to use the holistic healing modalities, because it can help a lot with that.
Okay. Can you give me an example of how that might work?
Yeah. So let's just take the emotional freedom technique to start with. This is something that I use. It's probably one of my favorite tools. What they say is it's like emotional acupuncture. So you're tapping on acupuncture points or acupressure points to stimulate the stress response to go down. So you're actually getting rid of the fight or flight by using the tapping. So it's sending these messages to your brain to relax and you're safe and that sort of thing. And so all of our beliefs that we have, they've come from somewhere. We've learned them somewhere. We've had painful experiences. And so by doing this, you're kind of repatterning the thinking. You're removing the negative emotions to why you would say, I can't lose weight, I don't have time. And if you peel the onion enough through that process, you'll probably come to something quite deep, like, I don't feel good enough to experience this health that I really want.
I wonder, as you think back on your own life, how did you sort of come to the place where you thought, I've got to engage with my subconscious to move through life in a more positive way?
Well, I was sick in my 20s, and really at that time I had no self-esteem and just a real lack of self-confidence, very unhappy. I was quite complacent. I didn't know anything could be better. And I started searching through a maze of wellness options, and this is how I learned what I learned. And I did have an amazing practitioner many, many years ago tell me these physical health problems that you're having, they're related to your emotions. And that was, at first I didn't even believe it. And she was able to prove to me beyond a shadow of a doubt that that was in fact true.
So you've had quite a dramatic change in terms of your physical health and I guess your emotional health as well.
That's correct, yes.
It sounds to me like it's an approach that is a constant kind of work in progress, and you're not setting necessarily tight deadlines on yourself for I will do this specific thing by this specific date. But I think some people might argue that, without setting concrete goals, you can't really modify your life. What would you say to those people?
Well, you can set concrete goals. There's two ways of doing it. When someone would come into my office, they may come in because they have a problem with something that they want help with, or they may come in with a goal and say, here's my aspiration. And at that point, then I'll work backwards with them and say, okay, here's the goal. How come you're not there yet? Because you would already be well on your way without any hesitation to that goal if there wasn't any blocks. So my job is to figure out what is stopping you from achieving that goal. And once we start removing that and shifting your thinking around it, then you can just take action and get there.
Okay. I've heard you talk about the importance of living a life without limits. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Yeah, there's always more. I mean, wherever we are, whatever point in life we're at right now, there can be more joy, there can be more confidence, there can be more self-love. And when you look at those things, we have kind of if you think of it in terms of a house built on either a solid foundation or a sandy foundation, most people are trying to accomplish things externally where, I want the really good job and I want these things, but they have the sandy foundation. If you're striving to get it because you're building a solid foundation inside, it's a lot easier to go and reach those goals.
What do you define as success?
I think success is whatever anyone wants it to be. It can be, worldly measures of success. It can be, I want this career job and I want more money. Or it can be, I just want to feel better about myself. I want healthy relationships or more healthy relationships. It doesn't mean that they're not good to start with, but maybe they can be better.
I understand you have a class happening in Regina next week that deals with some of these issues. Can you tell me about that?
Yes, it's a talk, and it's called Unleashing Your Inner and Outer Beauty, and it's actually weight management for your body, mind, and spirit. So that will be happening on Wednesday, January 11th at 7 o'clock.
How can people find out more details about where that's happening and how to sign up for it?
They can go to my website, which is embracingmylight.ca, and register right there.
Dawn, very interesting ideas, and I appreciate you taking a few minutes to chat with me about them this morning.
Oh, thank you.
And Happy New Year to you.
Yes, you as well.
Dawn Kress is a mentor and wellness facilitator here in Regina. I've tweeted out a link to her website from @SaskWeekend. It's embracingmylight.ca.